everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster on doubles Lair with Warlock. For my subclass, I'll be using the Stasis Shade Binder. Here are the mods I'll be using for this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using False Promises with the famous deadly Monarque. For my heavy, I'll be using the Tarantula with box breathing. For my helmet, I'll be using Exotic Stag with Fire Recovery, Linear Fusion Rifle Ammo Finder with Precision Charge. Next, I'll be using Protective Light and Anti-Barrier Auto Rifle with Overload Bow and 10 Disciplined. Next will be Double Arc Resistance with Radiant Light and 10 Recovery. For the leg armor, I'll be using 10 Recovery, Linear Fusion Rifle Scavenger with Auto Rifle Holster with Shield Right Charge. Next, I'll be using 5 Recovery, Bomber, and with the Artifact mod where we can gain Stasis ability whenever we stun a champion. Alright, so as you guys know, I decided to go for the Warlock, Stasis, Shade Binder, and I'll be using the same loadout. Just like for the Hunter version, except now we'll be dealing with the Warlock with the power of the turrets, the mini turrets where they're gonna do all your dirty work. And of course, we'll be spamming a lot of them in this video, and definitely going to go for the Platinum rank for this video. Now you could Sparrow to go to the next area, but as you guys know, I will just be running from the left side, stagger the champion, and just run for my life. Probably gonna do some DPS at the Overload champion. Now this was my first attempt run, so at the same time I was doing some experimenting and the Overload champion was not cooperating in this footage. So sometimes the Overload champion doesn't really want to destroy you, so it just starts to focus on the the Hive Knights or the Hive Captains, etc. And you can see I was crying because I was trying to figure out why this Overload champion is not attacking me. Like usually in my runs, it always attacks me, this Overload captain, and now in this footage it just didn't feel like doing anything, which it was baffling. You know what? I understand. It's afraid of Warlocks. They don't like Warlocks. They're terrified by them, especially when using Warlock with the Monarque. It is extremely deadly. So I could see why this Overload champion was just so terrified, so afraid to deal with this Overload champion. Well, to deal with, of course, me, well, Warlock. Definitely you can take your time to deal with this Overload champion. Now you could switch to your Tarantula Heavy to make this run more faster, but as you guys know, we did get the 100k Platinum. And of course, we destroy all the champions. I decided to use my finisher because it was taking too long. I mean, seriously, I should not take this long to deal with the first Overload champion. As you guys know, Overload champions sometimes are a bit RNG. They just teleport. Sometimes they don't feel like, you know, attacking you. They just want to attack the hives. Now you will see me spamming a lot of turret, so I am definitely gonna be spamming the stag, especially low on health, and I'm gonna let this turret do all the dirty work for me. Now the beauty of this turret is you can freeze enemies, you can slow enemies. Of course, we're using the Fragment Whisper of Endurance to make the slow much longer, etc. And what makes it deadly is it can freeze champions, and it is extremely fun, very useful. And of course I was being a little reckless here. Throw a turret and then you can just go and spam your heavy. Now you could use particle deconstruction, by the way, but for me, I decided to go for a different mod just to show that if you are unable to use particle deconstruction on your mods, you can also use other option mods for your solo run. Once we defeat the barrier captain, there's gonna be one overload champion, a couple of wizards, thralls, and acolytes, or I like to call them the fiery dudes because they throw fire and they are extremely dangerous. But let's just not put them the first rank of most dangerous. Let's talk about the stalkers from the hollow layer, where even looking at them can melt you less than a second, which we'll talk about that another day, another week. So now, since we cleared down a couple of ads, we can actually deal with the overload champion. You can actually just spam Monarque over this angle with the Warlock. Of course, using the turret wouldn't be the best idea dealing with the overload champions, since they will slowly regenerate their health. So when dealing champions, especially overload, I don't recommend to use your turret because it would waste a lot of time and it wouldn't really have any effect dealing with overload champions on solo. Now for a fire team, I guess it's okay, you know, but for a solo it's a bit different, to be honest. So once we take down the overload champion or captain, we can actually go and proceed. And of course, I forgot these thralls do spawn when you do push towards the halfway of the area. Now, just to let everyone know, they don't one-shot you, so even if they melee you, it takes around 2 melee shots. So you can see the example. Okay, well, I would say 3 shots, so they can melee you 3 times for you to go back to orbit. And for some reason, the thrall hives, they don't one-shot you, but the Fallens do one-shot you, which is a bit annoying and frustrating, which they like to play tag you're it blitz, and you'll be seeing a lot of that at the boss fight. Now, since we are using the power of the turret, I'm going to be spamming it quite a lot, especially dealing with the barrier champions, so definitely gonna be abusing it quite a lot in this video. Of course, where I throw the turret wasn't the best spot ever, but I was happy that the barrier champion moved. Another thing I like to mention is always pop your healing drift, which I did not do in this footage. I was being a little bit too confident in myself. So once you take down the barrier champion, now you can clear down the ads, take as much time as you want, and always take down the snipers from the top left side, which I did not do, which I should be doing. Blitz, take down the snipers. Okay, thank you. So these vandals, is always best first thing to do is to take down the vandals once you take down the barrier champion. You can also use your super if you want to. For me, I might as well. I didn't want to save my super since I'll be getting my super again quite a lot in the next set of ads. Well, the next area, well, probably the next waves, since the ghost's gonna be guarding his life. Now, I did decide to use the turret, but what I should have done here is throw the turret at this angle. We're dealing with the barrier, well, the arc knight and the wizard, since the wizard is the one that will give you most of the problems throughout this entire, well, this area specifically, because this wizard can melt you with the arc, even using double arc resistance. Overload champions still can melt you when you just stand still when it shoots the arc seekers. The wizards can still melt you if you stand still or you don't move away if it does shoot arc. Always take down the wizards once you take down the barrier champion. you can easily just ignore the Overload Champion since it doesn't really move quite a lot. And now I'm just taking my time here. Of course, I would say I don't really like going to this angle so much. I would prefer from the far right side, but I thought it'd be nice to show the optional spot since many people like to go on this specific area when dealing with the Overload Champion and wizards, etc. And for me, I would prefer going to the other direction for the hunter version. Especially dealing with the wizards, it just seems much better for me. Now we can actually deal with the Overload Champion. Isn't this fantastic? You can use the power of the Monarque using precision shots to poison the Overload Champion. So the Overload Champion will stand still, which it should do. And it only will be shooting Solar or Arc Seekers depending what kind of Overload Champion you are dealing with. You can take as much time as you can, doesn't really matter so much in this Nightfall. Like I said, we are focusing on Platinum and of course getting the 100k for me. So once all ads are cleared down, now we can actually go and deal with the 3 waves. Now, like I said, everyone is different. Everyone likes to go to the back of the map or the front view where we were before, or I like to go in this area since for me it's the safest and I am most comfortable in this area. So like I said, it's everyone's play style. People wouldn't like this area, people will do. Like I said, everyone's play style, everyone's choices of what they're most comfortable with. Now we're gonna actually be dealing with the Overload Champion, so you can see that the turret isn't really efficient when dealing with the Overload Champion. It is quite lovely with Unstoppables. Well, I would say it's okay with Unstoppables, but mainly the Barrier Champions, it's quite deadly. Now the turret was focusing on something else, which I was happy about, because now I can actually deal with the Overload Champion one-on-one without any interruptions and let the turret do its dirty work on the fallen ads from the right side. Now, as you guys know, this is the first wave of ads, so it's always best to clear all the ads as much as you can. There are snipers, so you must be very careful. And always spam your healing breath. Over here, I did not spam my healing riff, which I should have done. I guess I was just waiting for a right time. So always spam it, especially when you do have it. Now I was just double checking because I did saw a couple of ads, and I saw a Arc Captain, which I do like to take down the Arc Captain last. Everyone is very different. Or if it's standing there not moving, you know, wide open, then of course I would use the linear fusion to take him down as well. Now I am going to be dealing with the Vandals. So these snipers are quite deadly. I always take them down with the bow. And the turret is doing its dirty work. So thank you, my minion turret. It's just perfect. Now I was just going back because I know there's going to be more waves of ads throughout this entire room. Well, the first wave. So I did saw a couple of shanks, and I'm definitely gonna throw a turret and let us do his dirty work once again. Seriously, don't you guys just love the mini turret? Like, it is probably so fun to see this little mini turret just freeze enemies. Also, you can get your super. It's just so fun. And also another thing about the turret is it can detect ads, so if you don't see anything, which probably me, sometimes I don't see anything, the turret will shoot at any ad that is close by, and it'll be easy for you to detect enemies, or you can just use the Monarque. There are a couple of ads, especially these snipers up ahead. Once you clear out all the ads, then we'll be going for the next waves, which highly recommend to deal with the barrier champion, which I did not do in this video because I made a little mistake. So I actually do want to see what the heck happened, because maybe my eyes was over exaggerating, but maybe the barrier champion teleported to the middle of the map. So I definitely want to take a look for myself, because I did use my super, but I didn't do enough DPS since we are not using particle deconstruction in this footage. But I do want to see if it did teleport or if it moved very, very quickly to the middle of the map. Once we take down the captain, we can actually go back and we'll be dealing with wizards, fallens. It's just so fun. I just love this Nightfall. This Nightfall isn't really so bad. It's probably the easiest, I would say, one of the easiest Nightfalls. And of course, Lake of Shadows is the first easiest Nightfall ever, even with Master runs, Legends, etc. Now, I always like to take down a wizard as much as I can. Of course, if you don't, it doesn't really matter too much, so always take down the wizard if you have a chance. Usually when I stand here, I always like to take down the barrier champion, but like I said, in this footage, I did not take down the barrier champion. I was too late, and I wasn't doing enough DPS, which I should have done. But like I said, this was my first attempt. It was my test run and also my run for this week. So you can see here, oh that's right, so if you don't take down the barrier champion, it's going to quickly walk away. So like I said, I thought the barrier champion teleported, but it didn't, and for some reason it just quickly walk away, and I thought my super will freeze the barrier champion, so I should have just used my super immediately instead of throwing my turret, and then freeze the barrier champion and then do DPS. Of course, throw a turret and then take him down very, very fast, but I didn't do that, so that was my mistake. And like I said, this was my test and first attempt, so I wasn't really being super careful at that part. But like I said, make sure you use full DPS, use your super to take down the barrier champion. If you don't, then the barrier champion can give you problems. But it doesn't really matter so much, especially using the Stasis Warlock, because if you are using the turret, then you can control the ads and especially control the barrier champion, where it won't shoot arc from far distance where you're standing. So like I said, it doesn't really matter, especially for the Shadebinder Warlock. It isn't really a big deal at all. Now, the reason why I would say take down the barrier champion is because it likes to walk around the map. Now, I was a bit lucky here that the barrier champion was standing at the right spot. And this is the plan B if something goes wrong, which I'm pretty sure will happen quite a lot to everyone. I don't really like standing at this spot because Fallens, captains can shoot solars, Fallens can throw arc grenades, and honestly this area is just too dangerous for the hunter. This is a job for a warlock, probably a titan as well, especially with the barricades, etc. And if I was using Thunder Crash, I would definitely use on the barrier champion right now. So like I said, the turret is amazing, and you can control the ads, you can control the wizard, you can see it frees a couple of the captains, enemies, and you could just quickly take him down. And then once the barrier champion is down, now life is much easier, because the most dangerous throughout this entire Nightfall is the barrier champion. Overloads are kind of a joke, to be honest. Snipers, not so much. You can let the snipers be alive for them to take down the hive enemies if you want to, and that's pretty much what I did. I didn't really take down the sniper, the elite sniper. I wanted the snipers to shoot around the hive enemies for me. So depending how many ads you clear, then more champions will appear. So we are at the next wave, and next wave is usually 2 more champions, mainly overload champions. Now just be super careful for this, because I was not being very careful. I was being a little reckless as usual. You guys know me. Sometimes I'm reckless, sometimes I'm too cautious. Especially for corrupted, I am very, very cautious, because I don't trust anything in that Nightfall. And this one I was just feeling a little too confident, so I decided to throw my turret while staggering the overload champions, just for the minion to freeze a couple of enemies while I'm doing DPS at the champion. So I was quite happy that the turret wasn't really paying attention towards the overload champions, which I was quite happy. So you can see that I was just spamming turrets, doing DPS. And the reason why I didn't put a turret at that specific spot where you see a couple of ads are trying to destroy me is because I don't want the turret to interrupt the overload champion, because like I said, during solo runs, the health will regenerate very slowly, not fun. And like I said, fire team, it's okay. Solo, no, not okay at all. And once you take down the overload champion, then you can just spam turrets and actually clear all the ads. So yeah, the power of the Monarque with the turret. Now there are remaining snipers, so definitely take them down as much as you can. And they do love to play hide and seek. Basically, when doing the security area of the 3 waves of ads, it isn't really so bad at all, honestly. Mainly if you stand here, and especially melting the barrier champion, this area isn't really so bad. Now I am just being a little careful here, because I don't think I took down all the snipers. I felt like I was missing one more sniper, and it is the elite. I don't think I took him down, or I probably missed it and didn't see it. So definitely be very careful, because the elite sniper can melt you if you don't take him down, especially at this area. So there we go. We have the elite vandal, and those guys are very, very dangerous. So I know they look harmless from far distance, but these elite vandals, as you saw, they're the one with the gold bars. They're the ones that could wipe out, well, take down maybe 2 of your fire team if they are not being very careful. Now we clear down the 3 waves, and now we're gonna go to this mini room, which I like to call, and deal with the next overload champion. You can throw a turret, pop a healing riff, and then just spam the Monarque. You're probably wondering why I'm not using the auto rifle. Well, mainly because the auto rifle, well, I don't really like using it so much to clear ads unless I have Rampage on it. Mainly the auto rifle is just to stagger overload, well, barrier champions, and from far distance, that's about it. Mainly I want to use the bow since it poisons enemies, and then when you do precision shots, the poison spreads to other surrounding enemies, and I'm pretty sure it's way more strong than false promises, to be honest. So if I had to choose of which one can be the ad clear weapon, Monarque will be the first on my list. And once you do clear down all the ads, you can just go behind this box and do DPS at the Overload Captain or Champion. Alright, so once we take down all the ads and champions, etc., now we're actually gonna go the most fun, everyone's best friend, everyone's worst enemy at the tank room. Well, basically the 2 Brigs and the Walker. Everyone's best friend, where anything could go wrong. I always take down the snipers, just to let everyone know. Always take down the snipers, and once you do, you can just use your super and clear down ads. We're on Warlock, so I might as well just push and do some DPS towards the enemies. So you can actually go and then just use your super. Now I'm being a little careful here because there are 3 snipers from the back where they can 2-shot me, which is not a good idea. And once you clear down all of the ads, which I was trying to do, but these little dregs was in the way, then you can actually do DPS at the barrier champion. So another thing I like to mention is it's always best to clear down all the ads and deal with the barrier champion. That's my opinion, but I think in this footage, one of the fellow ads was spamming grenades and it was irritating me as usual, so I had to like stop doing DPS at the barrier champion and then deal with the last remaining ad, or fallen ad, or baby fallen, or the cute adorable baby fallens that grew up and then now we have to destroy them. Isn't it funny? So you can take your sweet time, and of course my turret was in the way. My bad for that. Probably the worst spot to put a turret, but hey, doesn't really matter too much, does it? Now I saw vandals up ahead, so definitely want to be very careful. So I throw a turret so they can freeze, and of course I was trying to take down this annoying fallen from the left side. It was hiding, so I couldn't push towards him until the snipers were taken down. Now, like I said, you must be very careful with them because they are extremely dangerous if you don't take them down as soon as possible. Now, I was just looking and it looked like the turret freeze one of the snipers, which I was quite happy. And I was just double checking because now we have to deal with more of the snipers. And of course, I didn't see anything. I mean, I do apologize for that. I did not see the sniper because, you know, the TV is so small, I can't really see anything from far distance. So a sniper did one-shot, well, it did shot me to the extent where my health was on red. But like I said, since we are using the power of the stack, you could just spam your healing rift, well, take cover, and then use your healing rift. I wouldn't recommend to use healing rift while the sniper is sniping you. We all know that's not gonna work out, especially for PvP. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have done that before. Popping a healing rift while the enemy is shooting you. Yep, that's the 101 of what not to do. Now, I saw a lot of snipers. I do want to take them down. So I was counting. So there's around 4 of them. And I think I left one alone because I didn't want to take too much time dealing with the snipers. Since we actually have to take down, well, the Brigs. Very tanky Brigs. And the Walker. Before I spawn the 2 Brigs, I need to make sure I take down a couple of overload champions if I can, and a couple of snipers from fire distance. Now, as I said, I will be doing the time skip very soon, but not now, since we actually do need to deal with the overload champion, which I do want to bait. it is always best to take down the Overload champions before making the Brigs and the Walker spawn. And it's everyone's opinion, by the way. Everyone is different. People would say no, spawn the Brigs and the tank right now. But for me, it just seems easier, especially when Overload champions are RNG. They teleport everywhere. And I don't want the Overload champion to teleport behind me, one-shot me back to orbit. Now that wouldn't be a fun experience, would it? I was waiting for this Overload champion to appear in front of me so I can actually use the Monarque. So finally I caught the Overload champion, I guess I could say that. And now life is gonna be much easier, so I was quite happy about that. Always be aware that if snipers do appear out of nowhere from the right side, make sure you take them down, especially doing the DPS at the Overload champion. Once I take down the Overload champion, now I'm gonna take down the elite vandals from far away. So as you guys know, I always take all these vandals from far away, the elite ones, because they are extremely dangerous and you don't want to mess with them. Trust me on that. So I'm going to be doing a mini time skip. So I'm going to be clearing a couple of drugs that do pop around, and definitely going to take down all these elite from far away before we're going to be spawning the Brigs. Alright, so everything seems to be right. So now we can actually spawn the Brigs and the Walker. OMG, this is so exciting. This is probably the best part throughout this entire Nightfall. I just love taking 10 minutes of my life, maybe more, of taking down the Brigs. And then I'm gonna spend another 10 minutes taking down the tank. It's just so fun. Seriously, they're so tanky, it just makes it so challenging. I'm just so excited for this. Anyway, I'm just being very sarcastic. No, it's awful. Right now, I am trying to bait the Brig. Honestly, it's best to take down 2 of the Brigs and then the tank. And like I said, everyone is different, and of course, you guys know me, I will be doing a time skip of dealing with the Brigs. First, I do want to show that you can bait the Brig from this specific angle, especially from far away where the window is. Now, I do want to say that sometimes, this is rare, sometimes a Brig can shoot void and shoot through this window. So just be super careful, especially dealing with this Brig from this specific spot. Now I'm going to be doing a time skip here because this is going to take a while, and of course, spam your turret. Once you take down the Brig, now we're going to be dealing with the next Brig. It's so fun. I just love using Monarque and then just shooting and shooting bow away for a really long time. So you can actually stand here, but be aware that the Brig can shoot void like this, and you must move away or it will send you back to orbit, which will not be a fun idea. So as you guys know, you can just stand here. You can also use your turret as well to make this Brig to stand still, and then once it explodes and starts to float shooting solar, then it'll be easier to take down. So I'll be doing a mini time skip for this one. Alright, so after spending around 2 minutes of my life and I saved all the fellow guardians a lot of time, we finally took down the Brig, and now we can actually deal with the Walker or the Spider or the tank boss. Now, I always highly recommend when dealing with the Walker, have boss spec so you can take down the tank much more faster. Now, box breathing, highly recommend. especially if you don't have the Stasis linear fusion rifle, which unfortunately I don't really have a good roll. Then you can use Tarantula to use the box breathing effect. And then do DPS. Now you're probably wondering why I pull back. Well, there's a ship, and this ship can actually shoot you from where you're standing. So I always hide behind covers inside a building, any building by the way. It doesn't have to be the one where I'm standing now. And then you can just resume DPS, especially at the Walker. Now the Walker is super harmless from this angle. I think a couple seasons ago I wasn't able to stand in this area, but now you can, so I feel like they did nerf the Walker. So you can take your sweet time, but always make sure you take down all the vandals from the back, especially the elite ones. So before taking down a Walker, make sure none of them survive. If they do, instead of taking down a Walker, take down all the snipers as much as you can. Then you can take down a Walker. Another thing I'd like to mention is if you do see an Overload champion not immune towards the barrier champion, which it happened to me, which I was quite lucky. So this is going to be a very rare moment. Usually Overload champions are always with the barrier champion, and I think in this footage I managed to take down a Overload champion from far distance on this specific spot. Honestly, the turret is just so amazing. I think the turret just made the barrier champion, you know, walk away near the tank, which I was quite happy. So like I said, you can take down the Walker. You can take your time of using the box breathing effect. And of course, I saw Overload champions like, hello Blitz, aren't you forgetting about me? You can do DPS. I'm like, yes, I did not forget about you. And I was quite happy. So like I said, if an Overload champion is just roaming around without its bodyguard, it's like, hello Blitz, look at me. Hello, hello, hey, listen, listen. But you can just do DPS using the Monarque, and it is going to save your life because now you took down 2 Overload champions, which you were supposed to take them down after you defeat the Brigs and the tank, well, the Walker. So I was quite happy. I was like, oh my goodness, what a good luck. Of course, I am spamming my turret, you know, just taking advantage of it. I saw the ship once again that will be having a couple more ads, and I was quite happy. It was no champions, it's just a arc captain, so nothing really so bad. So definitely take down the Walker, but I did saw vandals, so I didn't like that, so definitely take them down if you see them. If you don't see them, then of course just quickly take down the Walker. So now I'm just being super careful over here because I do not want to miss my shots. I do want to make my life easier to take down the Walker as quick as I can. So you can see here, just being very, very cautious, very careful, and to make sure I don't do anything silly. So maybe doing a time skip until I defeat this Walker, because it's gonna take forever and I don't want to waste everyone's time with me spending 3 minutes. Alright, finally I defeated the Walker, and now all the ads are gonna move from the back, well, most of them. And vandals, unfortunately, are gonna move to the back. You can see they're all walking in the back, and it's super annoying. So now I'm trying to count how many champions are there. There's gonna be an overload, 2 overloads, 1 barrier champion, and then when you push towards near the exit, then there'll be additional, of course, another overload champion. And always the last overload champion in this room, I always have trouble. Like, I always forget, you know, that when you walk towards the exit a little bit close, then the overload champion will spawn, and it's super annoying. I really need to write in my notes of that Pacific overload champion. Very sneaky, by the way. I like to call it the sneaky overload champion because I always seem to forget that it spawns near the exit when trying to walk towards it, and it's super annoying. Now, I was quite happy about this. So usually this doesn't really happen, but the Arc Knight seems to be not pulling back from the map, and it looked like the best time to take down the Arc Knight. So I decided to just go for it, you know, spam the heavy and take him down. Of course, this captain is very dangerous, so if it does shoot solar, just back away, as you saw there. Definitely I backed away, did not want to deal with the captain from close by. I saw a ship, so I wasn't quite happy about that, so I pulled back, just went to this little building so the ship won't shoot me. If you don't have any arc resistance, definitely you can get one shot by anything pretty much, even the ship. So I'm gonna go to this little hiding spot and, you know, just deal with a couple of ads. And of course I should have just first deal with the overload champion, which I did not do, which I should have done, but I was forgetting. So silly me. So make sure you take down the overload champion. Of course the turret was in the way, so I wasn't quite happy that the turret was bothering the overload champion. But it's alright. It doesn't really matter too much, and I really love this spot, to be honest. I feel like snipers can't really snipe me from this angle. And a lot of ads, especially at the ground floor, a lot of ads don't really seem to be aggressive, especially when you are throwing, especially when they are throwing nades. They seem to not throw so much at this specific spot. The barrier champion has a mind of his own, and of course it's probably the most annoying barrier champion in this entire Nightfall. So always try your best to take down the barrier champion if you can. Always make sure you take down the barrier champion when you do see it in the middle of the map, where I'm standing right now. Now, I was just being super suspicious because I swear there should be more ads, more vandals, and I probably was being a little bit impatient. So what happened here is I thought maybe I could take down the barrier champion from this angle, and I should have just stayed here instead of moving once again. I did the same mistake for the hunter. I decided to move from the left side eventually. I think I did in this footage. I don't remember if it was on my hunter or if I did on my warlock. You know, my memory is kind of fuzzy at the moment. But I was trying to see if I could take down the barrier champion from this distance. And of course, the barrier champion was being extremely not cooperating. Alright, so I probably did this because I got really impatient. So that I remember, when going near the exit, there will be a champion to appear. And OMG, I didn't look at it, by the way. And then when I saw it, I was like, no, I'm out of here. I am getting the hell out of here. Nope, not today. I am not going to be destroyed by the barrier champion. So you can see that barrier champion can shoot from far distance, but for some odd reason it can't shoot me from this angle, from this spot where I'm standing, this little hiding spot. And I should just stand here and just wait patiently, to be honest. Once we take down the overload champion, now you can actually do DPS dealing with the bear champion because now he is completely, well, kinda harmless. Because you can use your turret, you can use your heavy, so I was trying to have the box breathing effect. I didn't want to waste too much ammo, but then again I was looking at the bricks and I was like, oh my god, I need to pick them up. Now, this part got a little impatient, so in this footage, I decided to just use my super to pass them. Because the Arc Knight, well, the Arc Captain was being a bit annoying. And if the Arc Captain is being annoying, just use your super and collect heavy. And then just go to the boss fight. I don't think it really matters so much. We took down all the champions. There's really no point of taking 2 minutes, you know, of my life to clear all the ads. It's just no point at all. Now we can actually go to the pre-boss room, dealing with 2 Overload champions. Now, funny story, I actually had some trouble in this area. And the reason why was the turret was being a bit... The turret wasn't really cooperating too much in this area. I wanted the turret to freeze the enemy, so what I should have done here is throw the turret from the back instead of that specific spot right there. So it was my mistake, and like I said, this was my test run as well. So something that everyone can learn, and definitely be super careful, especially dealing with Overload champions, with the Arc Seekers that could melt you if you stand still. So I was trying to take time, and the thing about this is if you don't take down the ads, they're going to be spamming grenades, and spamming grenades is not the best idea, especially at this part. So yeah, don't mind me, I'm just using the Monarque to do DPS the Overload champions. It's just so fun, isn't it? Of course, there are a couple of grenades, so I was hoping the Overload champion can teleport at a good angle, and it did, so I was quite happy. But the bad news is it was shooting these Arc Seekers, which is really... it's an okay spot to dodge, so I was okay with it. You know, just make sure you take down the Overload captain as soon as possible. I mean, I could use my heavy, but I wanted to save my heavy for the boss fight. Alright, so we finally defeated all the ads. Well, I think I'm missing one, but we can take down the Overload champion, and it's just so fun. I just love using Monarque. It's amazing on Overload champions. Of course, any bow with explosive payload is probably one of the best to deal with Overload champions as well. I was quite happy it had 2 heavy breaks. Now I'm actually gonna do DPS at the boss. And back away. Definitely gonna be backing away for this. Now the Arc Knight is probably gonna be your worst enemy, so my turret, thank you turret, it saved my life. It scared away this very dangerous captain. Like I said, once you take down this Arc Captain, then pretty much everything else is gonna be pretty simple. So now we're gonna be doing some DPS at the boss. As you guys know, that this part is where it's best to just try to do as much DPS as you can, especially dealing with the boss. Now I am gonna be throwing the minion turret to do its dirty work, because I actually want to get this Nightfall done. Now, there are a couple of ads that could get in your way of doing DPS, so I was having that bit of an issue, but it's easy to clear them down. You could just use your super, well, not use super, you can use your heavy, and of course it will teleport. So always be careful. I was just being very careful. You know, I don't trust this boss. You know, sometimes it shoots this void like you saw there. And if you stand still and it shoots 3 void at you, you will get destroyed and go back to orbit. And I did not want that to happen, so that's why I was just being super careful dealing with the boss. Now we did enough DPS at the boss, and now it will spawn these cute, adorable, lovable baby servitors. They're just so cute. I just want to Monarque them until they are destroyed. I did use my super as well, just clear down a couple of ads. Now be aware of the cuteness of these baby servitors, where they can destroy you if you are behind a wall, like really close to the window. You can see there that these cute, adorable, lovable baby servitors just love to shoot mini tiny void attack. I mean, it tries its best. It's like, I need to get you. They're just so adorable, but you can actually just take your time here, use a healing rift to take down all these shanks, fallen ads. You can use the Monarque to destroy these cute, adorable baby servitors. I mean, aren't they just so cute? Don't you just want to use Monarque and destroy them? I mean, did I mention Monarque can poison enemies, especially these cute baby servitors? You can poison anything, even a cute, adorable baby servitor. Yeah, I'm making it much worse, am I? They are protecting the boss, unfortunately. And you must take down all these baby servitors to break the shield so we can actually do some DPS. I just love using Monarque just to pinch them with the bow. Or to hit them with the bow. It's just so fun. They're like, I'm gonna get you, Blitz. Fear my tiny void attack. I'm like, no, not today, baby servitor. I have to use Monarque to destroy you. It's like, oh no. Once the boss shield is out, you can actually just spam your turret, and the boss will be teleporting left, right, up, down, everywhere. But I always take down these gold bar drags, vandals, all these fallens. They're not going to be doing some DPS. Now sometimes the boss will teleport in a spot where you can actually use your linear fusion rifle to do amount of DPS if you want to, so highly recommend if you do have a chance to do that. I was trying to use my melee, but it didn't work out. It didn't go through the window. But it doesn't really matter so much, you know? I mean, I am using the power of the turret. The turret is immune to everything. Besides the barrels from Lair, then the turret can die from it. But we are not in Lair, so that's the good news. You can spam your turret as much as you can and actually just deal with the champions. Well, not deal with the champion, deal with the fallen ads, and eventually the boss will appear, and if you do have a chance, you can do DPS at the boss. And I was just being super careful because there were a lot of gold bars, and then I saw the boss, like, okay, well, time to use my heavy. Might as well, right? Then the boss teleported a different direction. I was thinking that the ads will be around that area, but I didn't hear the ship, so usually when you hear ship, then fallen ads will be at the bottom of the floor, the basement floor, you know, etc. So that was my mistake for using a turret on that spot. It was a bit too early. I was just double checking the stairs because I wanted the fallen ads to appear, but they haven't yet because I haven't done enough DPS at the final boss. And now there are a couple more of gold bar fallen ads, so I was just double checking, multitasking. I was hoping this boss can make more ads to spawn, but it just kept teleporting left, right, up, down. Then I saw the boss, like, okay, I see him, and he's trying to shoot void at me. So just be super careful with the boss, where it does have the ability to shoot void through the window, and it's not a fun experience, to be honest, because it has happened to me a couple of times. Now I decided to go to the basement because, well, might as well give it a go and see if the boss does actually teleport around this area. It didn't seem to teleport around here, so I was being a little impatient, and it finally did. I was like, okay, I see the boss. Please don't teleport from the other side. I was hoping it won't teleport. Then it teleports somewhere else where I can't see him, and I was not happy about it. So I decided to just wait and be patient, wait for the boss to teleport in that area again. So basically this phase is going to be the waiting game. I mean, of course there were a couple remaining ads, but I did see the boss again, so I decided to use Monarque and try my best to do some DPS as much as I can. The boss was being super annoying, so I decided to just go upstairs if I don't see him. So you can see I was being super careful. I mean, look at that. It just looked at me and then it just turned away. Like, what the heck was that? This boss has a mind of his own. He was staring at me. He's like, I don't feel like looking at you. I'm gonna look at the other side. Then it teleports away. It's so funny. Now, I did hear the ship, so I definitely felt like there were gonna be a couple fallen ads. So I decided to put a turret there just in case, and I sensed that there are ads at the basement floor or the bottom floor, and these are the ads where they can go upstairs and one-shot you, and trust me, it is not a fun experience. So be very, very careful, because ads, fallen ads, can tag you. They like to play the game, tag your it, and when they tag you, it's back to orbit. Or tag, you're back to orbit, basically. Basically, that's it. Once they tag you, you're back to orbit. So tag, you're back to orbit. That's basically what the fallen say when they destroy you. Now, I was quite happy that the boss was standing in this angle, so I decided to just use the Monarque. And then just be super careful, because this boss has a mind of his own. You can see here that you have to be very careful. Don't mind me, guys. There's an invisible wall. There's an invisible wall, right? And sometimes it won't let me shoot the boss, and then sometimes it does. It's super annoying. But hopefully we can go to the next phase. So finally we're going to be at the last phase. And we're going to be dealing with cute, adorable, lovable baby servitors, but first things first, we have to take down a couple of ads and try our best to trap the Overload champions. So I probably had the worst luck where one of the Overload champions was not cooperating. And I think this one too, I think it went upstairs, just like it always does. Why? Why does this happen to me? I'm having a really good run, and then this Overload champion's like, nah, Blitz, I don't really feel like it. I'm gonna go upstairs. La-di-da-di-da. So, like I said, I always try to take down the Overload captains as fast as you can. Of course, we don't have any heavy, unfortunately, so just make sure you take them down, because if you don't, then they're gonna teleport and go upstairs or go to the tunnel, which I despise. I don't like going there, to be honest, so if they are in the tunnel, then you probably have to go for plan B to try to hit the foot of the Overload champion, which is not a fun experience, let me just tell you that. Now I was trying my best to take down this Overload champion because I don't want this Overload champion to teleport, and it's not a fun experience. And excuse me of my bow going a different way. If you guys know console, we have the frustration of aim assist here and that. And if you guys thought aim assist is frustrating, then you're gonna love this Nightfall, because this Nightfall has the definition of aim assist, especially on console. If you're on PC, then it doesn't really matter what I'm talking about because you don't have that. But for console, for PS5, Xbox, etc., we have the struggle of console aim assist, and sometimes aim assist can mess up your DPS with the Overload champions. And guess what? It did, because of aim assist of console. The Overload champion got away. OMG, this is a troll. Did you see that? This Overload champion is trolling me, and this is what happens when you don't take down Overload champions fast. And this is what happens when the Overload champion doesn't feel like standing in this area. Now the Overload champion is on that area where the turret is, and I don't want to go near there. I mean, seriously, what can I do in this situation? So I'm gonna wait for the turret to disappear and actually just shoot the foot of the Overload champion, and hopefully it'll move to the right side so I actually can do precision headshots and just get this Nightfall over it. So because the turret's not disappearing, I'm going to be destroying the cute, adorable baby servitors. Well, one of them. Now I did saw the Arc Knights, or Arc Captains, my bad, and they were also inside a tunnel. It just doesn't seem safe. I don't trust this Overload champion, so I decided to just wait over here, pop a Helium Breath, and hopefully this Overload champion can walk out of the tunnel or teleport in this angle. I mean, it would be quite fun, you know, but sadly it didn't do that at all. And it will eventually do peek out of the tunnel from the left side, and then you could just use the Monarque to do DPS. I was just taking care of the Vandals because I don't see the Overload champion. Unfortunately, I didn't see him, and eventually I did use my super just to see where the Overload champion is because it was taking me so long. So in this footage, I decided to wait for my super, so I'm going to do a time skip for this, and of course I'm taking down the baby adorable servitor. Alright, so I decided to use my super just to see where the boss is, where the Overload champion is. I did collect a couple of heavy, and I was like, okay, I see you, Captain. Bring it on. And then I decided to go pull back, and hopefully this Overload captain can get out of the tunnel. OMG, the invisible fallen just passed by me while me doing DPS at the Overlord champion. Good thing I had protective light, because if it did try to one-shot me, I would still be on red health. Shoot the foot, and if you can do precision shots, then go ahead. But if you can't, which I'm pretty sure will happen, you can just shoot the foot of the champion, and hopefully you can take him down. And of course, our captain was in the way. OMG, I hate that. Don't you just love when our captains just want to protect the overload, so your DPS could be messed up, then you'd start all over again. So I was quite afraid, but it looked like I was shooting the foot, and our captain wasn't really being aggressive, so I was quite lucky here, to be honest. So like I said, these two overload champions are RNG. They never, if you do get them very quickly, then you know, quite lucky, because sometimes they don't like to cooperate. And you saw there that the overload champion was teleporting, going upstairs, teleporting left, right, and they can also teleport in buildings, just to let everyone know. But once we destroy the cute, adorable baby servitor, the final boss's shield will break, and this is a good time to do DPS. So I decided to try to do DPS, but then there were elite vandals, and they were so annoying. Like, seriously, I just want to defeat this boss. Is it too much to ask, game? Because these vandals were in the way, these gold elite ones, they were using their arc seekers, and I couldn't do any DPS at the boss at the moment until I cleared down these vandals, because they were following me and I did not like that. So of course I did use my turret again, and then hopefully I can do as much damage at the boss. As much as I can. I was just trying to be super careful because I saw this captain wide open. Didn't look good, so I wanted to take him down, but then he moved away, unfortunately, so that was quite unlucky. And of course, this invisible fallen tried to play the tack and back to orbit method. Not today, not in this video. So yeah, remember when I said that fallen love to play tag, you're it? Yeah, about that. They do in this video. They just teleport everywhere. They like to just walk around. Like, seriously, did you see this invisible fallen walking down in this area? No, I think it just basically teleported out of nowhere or lagged, and then just decided to try to play the game of tag it back to orbit method, but it didn't work, so I was quite happy about that. So always be super careful, because any fallens can one-shot you, and that's why I say they love to play the game of tag and back to orbit, because once they tag you, you go back to orbit, and that's pretty much the truth, basically, throughout this entire final boss phase. And of course, this Vandal hop. OMG, I got so terrified. Like, seriously, did you see that? Thank the traveler and the speaker that the turret saved my life. If I didn't have a turret there, OMG, things could go bad. Well, not so much. I mean, I could just pop a healing drip, you know, I could just pull back, you know, but still, thank the turret. It saved my life again. It slowed down the Vandal, so I wasn't able to, you know, try to use arc seekers at me, because I could have, especially when I was just standing there and I wasn't really so much walking or moving around. Now you can actually do DPS, it all depends on where the boss is teleporting. So I was trying to use as much heavy as I can. Unfortunately I didn't do enough DPS at the boss, so just be super careful. Especially when elite vandals like that start to appear out of nowhere and try to destroy you. So of course I did hear the ship, so I decided to just use my super, clear down ads, and that's the reason why I decided to just wait for my super. Well, wait until I see the ship to spawn more fallen ads so I can use my super. Once you kill all the vandals, all the ads, now this phase is probably really easy because now no ads will really bother you at all. And you can actually just spam your heavy. And of course a drag was bothering me. And then it decided not to feel like bothering me again. So hopefully the turret can distract the fallen ads from the right side. And finally we can defeat the boss because honestly this is taking a bit too long for a Warlock run. We finally defeated the boss and we got a couple of good exotics and weapons. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy this commentary. Bye.